to the epicenter of one of the worst man-made environmental disasters in history. The US Coast Guard has given us exclusive access. Only emergency crews have been this deep inside the oil spill exclusion zone, more than 100 kilometres off Louisiana, in the Gulf of Mexico.
It's incredible to be at this place right now. This is the actual source of the oil spill, the beginning of the catastrophe. These rigs right now are working furiously to try and drill deep and intercept that ruptured pipeline. It's just incredible. It's an overwhelming in scale. You can smell the oil. It's so strong and it stings your eyes. And when you look down, you can see the red, rusty oil glob sitting on the surface and a sheen that stretches as far as the eye can see.
Out here, the sheer scale of the catastrophe is overwhelming. We followed rivers of oil back toward the coastline, some 30 kilometres long, moving with the fast-flowing Gulf currents. Some experts say 16 million litres of oil is billowing into the sea each day. When you get down onto the surface and you get up close to this oil slick, you see just what a crisis it is. Let me take a sample and try and show you. That is pure crude oil. On shore, it's been a slow-motion disaster, and only this past week have the first waves of oil hit the mainland, with all their terrible consequences. Sea life has been devastated. Birds and fish lay dying over a wide area.
Maybe in 30 years. Good luck. They've murdered the Gulf.
It was April 20 when the oil line at BP's Deepwater Horizon ruptured and exploded, causing the rig on the surface to burst into balls of flame. 11 workers were killed, 17 injured. And 2 days later, the platform collapsed and sank, leaving the broken pipe on the sea floor spewing oil. Deepwater Horizon was BP's crowning glory in the Gulf. The $400 million operation had drilled deeper than any oil rig in history, 10 kilometres straight down. And not a single worker had been injured in 7 years. But there were problems and a lot of pressure from management. Let me show you something over here, because beneath this net is where I think the oil catastrophe becomes quite upsetting. Just have a look under here. We'll do it gently and quietly. Under there are 28 pelicans soaked in that toxic oil. Now, they think they'll save most of them. They're going to get underway cleaning them in just a few hours. But if this is what's happening to the wildlife on the shoreline, it's unbearable to think what's happening right now to the marine life beneath the sea.
This is really a man-made catastrophe. I mean, this is like the scale of hurricane, but it's an oil spill.
The Mississippi River. It doesn't take long to discover more oil pollution. Look at that, if you just run your hand up all these reeds, and that's what comes off. The slick has rippled through these sensitive wetlands, leaving its black mark, a toxic tide line that's strangling these plants. Biologist Dr. Ricky Ott is a world expert in marine pollution. She saw firsthand 21 years ago how massive oil spills impact communities. Ricky was working in Alaska when the Exxon Valdez disaster struck. And even today, that pristine waterway has not fully recovered.
What we have is an ecosystem that's still recovering, and the scientists are saying it's going to be another 50 years minimum before that oil goes away.
Exxon was considered the worst ecological disaster of its time. But already, even by BP's own estimates, this is 10 times worse, and the numbers here are rising every day.